Washington, D.C. has this empty, hollow feel. And I think it's a metaphor for something bigger, an emptiness and hollowness perhaps in the American soul. Now, the other thing you see in Washington, D.C. right now is the military. They're all over the place, and a lot of them. And on top of that, Biden has hired his own private security. So you've got private security, you've got the National Guard, you've got the military, and this is what that looks like. So wow, I mean, is this America? You kind of feel like you're in the Congo or the Far East, some third world despotism where the military is mobilized to protect the people in power from the people, The other thing that's going on is walls. Washington, D.C. has become a city of walls. There are fences everywhere. There are tall walls. And this alone is eerie because they're all put up by the same people who said that walls don't work. Walls don't work. But apparently walls do work when you have to protect the political class. Then you have guns and soldiers and walls. But evidently when you have to protect the country, then, we don't need ICE, Dinesh. Why are we having ICE officers mobilized on the border? We don't need a wall. Biden's going to stop the wall on his first day. So it's important to protect this political class, but evidently that same protection is not important for the American people. Now, Trump never had any of this at his inauguration. You just have to flash back 4 years to realize, where was the military at Trump's inauguration? Where were all these high walls? There weren't any. They didn't exist. And you might say, well, that's because there wasn't the same kind of threat. Well, wait a minute. Actually, it was far, far worse. In Trump's inauguration, there was massive Antifa presence. There was rioting. There were assaults on people. There was the breaking of store windows. And so if you ever thought you needed more police, more protection, you would think it was then. People say, well, Dinesh, the big difference, of course, is that we've just had a coup attempt. We've just had an insurrection. We've just had an attempt to take over the government. This kind of rhetoric, by the way, here it is in full-blown hyperbole from the progressive magazine, The American Prospect. I'm going to quote, "On January 6th, our second civil war began with an insurrection the likes of which haven't," I think he means hasn't, been seen since the last war on American soil. As if this was the start of a new civil war, and this was the firing on Fort Sumter. Now, you only have to step back for a moment and meet these insurrectionists to recognize who these people really are, and then you can gauge for yourself the level of threat that they pose. So I want to introduce you to perhaps the most glamorous and the most recognizable of the insurrectionists, the guy who made his way right into the building. Let's take a look. Here he is.
What I do is I practice something known as shamanism. And in shamanism, they sing, they dance, they drum, and they inform the community. They dress up in a way that chases off evil spirits. The singing and the drumming is about chasing off evil spirits because sound actually precedes electromagnetic activity. So when you sing and you drum, especially when you do so really loudly, you end up affecting the quantum realm. And this has been being done for thousands of years to ward off evil spirits, ward off negative timelines, and to basically bring positive energy. So part of the reason why I dress this way is because if we were going to have like a infiltrator or something like that, they'd be a witch, they'd be a sorcerer or something like that on the dark side. So I practice life magic. I practice the light side or the positive side of shamanism. And when they see me, they go, "Oh, yeah, we got a big fish out here. We better not try and stir things up."
Now, whatever this is, it's not insurrection. I mean, this guy, Jacob Chansley, is a failed actor. Lights, camera, action. I mean, put him in the play Hamilton if you want. But this whole notion that they have to protect against a new civil war is preposterous. Preposterous. Another very disturbing thing that's happened the last couple of days is loyalty oaths and vetting of the military and the National Guard. The FBI has literally been checking into the social media posts of military and National Guard to see if they might be right-wing, if they might be Trump sympathizers. And this is a line, again, you may almost call it the merger, the politicization of the military. The idea here is that you can't count on the military to protect the country. Even though these people take an oath, you can't trust them. What you've got to do is ferret out the ones that are disloyal so that the only ones left are loyal to the party in power. Again, any of us who are raised in third world countries recognize the signs here. And what makes all this particularly strange is that the people who now champion walls and champion military vetting and champion this militarization of Washington, D.C. are the same people who claim to be against walls and defund the police. And we don't like the military presence. They were really upset when Trump called in the military to stop the Antifa riots later in the administration, the more recent ones that occurred several months ago. Imagine if Trump had done the same thing. Imagine if Trump had said, I'm gonna vet the people who are going to be at my 2016 inauguration. I'm going to make sure that they're all Trumpsters. I'm going to try to find out if any of them are leftists. I'm going to find out if any of them have been lifelong Democratic voters, if they've shown sympathies for radical left-wing groups, and I'm going to root them out. You can only imagine the outrage. So the bottom line of it is, and I think this is very eye-opening for us, we have to realize that the left is dishonest to the core. When they say things like defund the police, they don't really mean that. What they want is a police that does their work, a police that they can sick on their opponents. When they say we don't like the military presence, they mean we don't like the military presence for you, but we love the military presence to protect us. When they say we don't like walls and walls don't work, oh, Dinesh, Robert Frost, something there is that doesn't love a wall. That line is only quoted when they're talking about a wall around the country. When they're talking about a wall around their home, or around their private club, or around their gated community, or around Washington, D.C., that's when they quote the other line from Frost. Well, Dinesh, good fences make good neighbors. It's very important to have the right kind of protection against the wrong kind of people. So duplicity is the name of the game in Biden's America. We're going to be seeing a lot of it. And this podcast is going to be on it.